In today's video, I am going to be explaining to you what makes an NBA player different from your college player or your average high school player. This is going to be a very good video for all of you players who are trying to make the NBA. Let's get down to it. Okay, so what is the number one thing that sets an NBA player apart from most players from around the world, but also from the average college and high school player? Well, when you start talking about an NBA player, obviously they're going to be a lot more muscular. They're going to be older and generally than a high school player or college player. However, they are usually, for good players, having what's called NBA bodies when they're in high school. So those are the players who have been working out since an early age. They've been getting stronger, they've been doing plyometrics. They usually start with body weight exercises and then they build up to using weights. And that's going to be a safer way of being able to start to work out if you are younger. And also using that strength and size to get to that rim. The main goal is to either drain threes in the NBA today. There's a few players who do hit mid-range shots, but usually if they're hitting a mid-range shot, they've already created contact to be able to create space, but also creating contact to get to the basket. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this first tip. So there are many different types of move sets that you can use to get contact, to create contact in the key, to be able to create space and get your shot off. However, one of the main moves that many players use is when they're driving down towards the rim, they'll extend this left foot. If they're on the right side, they'll extend this left foot and have the shoulder go into the chest of the player. By extending that left foot, it is no longer a charge because you're not lowering your shoulder. You don't want to lower your shoulder. That's going to be an automatic offensive foul. But you want to go bang into the player, spin off, and then from the right side, you can go up into your left-handed shot. And that's going to be a very useful move that you can do. Another useful move is what I call the power step or the jump stop. Other trainers also call it a power hop as well. There's many different names for it, but basically it's when you're driving left or right and you're gonna be then stopping on 2 feet, taking that dribble, hopping or jumping off of this right foot and hopping towards the middle. Now what you're gonna be doing with this ball at the same time is going to be bang over. You want to bring that ball over, mainly because if you bring it across your chest or underneath, it could get stripped. You can also learn other what I call veteran moves, which is when you're driving towards the basket, if you've got a player right beside you, you could have your hand on their waist, and then when you stop, you can push them slightly, pop back for a shot. Now, that is an offensive foul. However, most referees don't see it and don't call it. Anytime that you can move a player with your offhand, hold on to them and not get called for a foul, if you do it secretively, I personally call them veteran fouls or veteran moves, mainly because if you're close enough to your player and you're pushing them, guess what? Sometimes, most of the time, referees don't see it. Obviously, if a referee sees it and you do it once, don't do it again. But if they don't see it, keep on doing it until you get that foul call. Because if you can get away with it 4 or 5 times and get 4 or 5 baskets, and then finally get called for it because the other team's complaining, well, guess what? You just got 8 free, 10 free points or more, and guess what? You finally get called for the foul. That's when you stop and you don't do it again. Now, this is not something that you would be normally taught. However, if you can get away with certain small little moves like that, then that's what most of these NBA players do. I remember watching Scotty Barnes in the Summer League, and he literally drove towards the rim. He pushed his player away, and then he had another help side defender. He moved their arm out of the way with the offhand and went up for the layup. Now, that's what I call a veteran move. When I seen Scotty Barnes do that, at that point in time, I knew he was going to be a very good player, and he's going to be a very good player. Now, when it comes to ball handling, that's going to be the second thing that really sets apart these NBA players. And when it comes to ball handling, it's not just their ability to be super flashy, going through their legs, in and out, jab, cross, whatever it may be. It's not that. Yes, there are players who are extremely flashy. Allen Iverson is one of them. Jamal Murray is another one. There are a lot of really good flashy ball handlers. However, it's not just about flash. What it's about is the ability to use your handles to get to the rim and reading the defender so that you can get to the rim. So for example, you don't just want to be super flashy, you want to go through your, whatever it is, through your legs. You're going to lose it at that point in time usually. You want to really change the height of the ball. You want to go from high to low. You want to be able to change your distance, your width. You want to get wide, and at that point, if you can get high to low and wide, you're going to be really sinking that defender down onto their heels. And as soon as you see that their heels touch that ground, you need to either attack that rim or step back for a three. So you want to be able to change heights. You want to be able to go from like shoulder height down to quickly knee height, come back, whatever it is. You want to be able to change the height down from tall to low, maybe get a little bit wider. Try to get that defender down onto their heels. Watch their midsection, because that's a very good area to watch. Because with your peripheral vision, you can see if they go down onto their heels. You can see if they go from this stance to this stance. You can see if they are on their toes, ready to play defense, and then they take a step back and get onto their heels from maybe one of your crossovers. You can see that, and then you can attack them. You can do a step back. You can drive on them. If you see them on their toes like this and they reach up, well, guess what? You're not going to be going for a step back at that point. They're stretched out. It's going to take them time to get back down and then defend you again. You attack the rim. So if a defender stretches out, thinking that you're going to take that shot, attack. If they get low and they take a step back or get down on their heels, you can still attack, but you can take a step back three as well. And shooting is, of course, the #1 skill overall. You need to be able to hit shots, whether it be a free throw shot or a mid-range shot or a three. You need to hit those shots. If you are a three-point shooter and you're not shooting 35 or 36% in game, you have a very low likelihood of being considered a three-point shooter, and that means that you've got one less chance of making the NBA. The reason for this is this. When it comes to shooting three-point shots, the NBA is really starting to move over to a 5-out style offense. We're starting to see this trickle down to college, and I am personally starting to see this trickle down to the high school level as well. More teams want to spread out the floor because now with teams running a zone as an example, that's going to stretch out that zone. It's going to create bigger gaps for players to cut back door. It's going to create bigger gaps for players to attack, to draw double teams, and then to kick out for a three. There is so many benefits to the 5-out offense in today's game. So whether you are a 6'9" center or a 6'2" guard or a 5'8" guard, it doesn't matter. You need to be able to shoot threes. Over 35 and 36% from the three-point line in game. You also need to have what I call the shooter's touch around the basket. Whether it be a mid-range shot or a layup, it doesn't matter. You need to have a very soft touch around the rim, and you need to be able to make a lot of shots no matter where you are on the court. So a very good way to practice this is, of course, when it comes to close-in baskets, just to practice layups. Have a pylon if you don't have a defender, have a defender if you have a defender. Do a quick 1 or 2 dribble crossover, attack the rim, and finish with a layup. Finish with a reverse, with a jump stop, with a power hop, all of the different options. And then go to a floater. Go to a floater around the rim. Try to put up a floater without any spin. And then after you go for a few floaters on each side, again, same thing. Pound that ball through the legs, maybe one dribble, take that shot, whatever it may be. And then pretend that you're coming off of a pin down screen, spin that ball to yourself, take that pivot, and then take that shot. Now these are the tactics that you're going to need to make it to that level. Also, some of the basic drills that you can use. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I hope that this video helps you become a better basketball player. If it does, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.